Well, hello, and welcome to a sunny afternoon here in Farming Simulator here in Farming Simulator 19 in the Felsbrunn region. We see the sun slowly starting to set behind the castle on the hill, which is very nice. Okay, quick update here off camera. We rode our horses up to their 100% levels for the day, Falcon and Faith. They're ticking along nicely. We've got 50 odd grand ready to sell there, but we'll keep those going for the moment, just until I say we keep them developed all the way through. It's not too much work for the day. One thing I think I will do is this lovely shiny water tanker here. Yes, is a little bit much for our needs. We filled it once and it's still virtually full after even a number of days of the horses. There is a mod, which is a couple of those IBCs, they call them, little plastic tanks which strap on the front of the tractor. I think I'll sell this, buy one of those, just to save some pennies. We are still leasing our straw blower, but yeah, nothing more to say about that really. Just the update from time-lapse. We ploughed our field and scattered some good seed on the land. We've got some wheat in there as well, growing nicely. We also limed it because it was that time. It needed a plough after corn. The harvest of the sugarcane took so long, it started to grow again. So I thought I'll leave that for a second crop because, well, why not? So at some point we fertilised that. That's going to need some weed killer spraying in a couple of growth stages time, I think. It not only took so long, it started growing. The field is now split into two separate growth stages. So there we go. That should jump to being grown in the first place. Off camera, it was quite a nice harvest actually. We got about 120 odd grand I think off it. So this one may be lower. I'm not sure. We'll take care of the field, see if we can get about the same off it. Then hopefully use that money to buy a bigger plough to plough it all in. I also, off camera, did a couple of contract jobs, which is very nice. A couple of 10 grand harvesting jobs. It turns out, if you harvest more than the farmer is expecting, you get the money for the extra crop. So that turned out to not only be a £10,000 job, but, well, each, so £20,000 worth of jobs. We then made a further 30-odd thousand in crop sales, which leads me to update on the big objective, which was to raise enough money to buy a field. I had my eye on 26, which is just over there. There it is, looking towards it, that sort of burnt orange one in the middle at the bottom, 26. But because of we looked at it, or rather I looked at it, and it was about 125, which I thought would be nicely covered. However, because we got so much money from the sales, I thought I would look at ones closer to home. We've got 21 there for 280, which is way out of reach. 11 at 192, or 18 at 180. Now that field's about the same as 19. So I think it's a toss-up, really, between 11 and 18. So, let's see what stage they're up to. 18 is white, which means it has cotton. And I see 11 is golden, which looks like sunflowers. I wonder what growth state they're at. The cotton is... Oh, they're both ready to harvest that. Seems interesting. I'm a little bit torn now between... Well, let's have a quick look at 11 before it's night time here. And, yeah, in fact, let's jump in a tractor and go do that. Off camera, whilst I'm wandering over to the... See, I had planned to just buy 18 and talk about harvesting the cotton. But now I just don't know. So, let's pop over to 18 in... pop over to 11 in this. See what's going on. I think we'll probably get a higher money value from the cotton, but of course that is offset by time and having to hire equipment. Let's pop over here and see what on earth is going on. Well, didn't that completely confuse the state of the episode? There we go. Let's keep indicating. Oh, we did some work on 11, didn't we? Now, 18 is quite a rolling, curvy... Oh, this one is as well, Luke. Although it is earned by a guy called Jonas Fresh, which is possibly... Oh, no, Frey. Never mind. We could then start to expand our empire that way, or... See, for the sunflowers, I'd need to hire some kit as well. Can't really find much more info on the field, can we? There we go. It just tells us how much it's worth. We get a little bit of land with that one over the far end. I wonder if that would be enough maybe for our sheep paddock. I think there is certainly enough at the bottom of 18 for the sheep paddock. So let's dive in, have a quick look. Of course, what I could do... I mean, I don't think we'll get massive amounts of money in terms of... It's quite a big field, isn't it? Yes. Well, maybe because we have the money, I should buy the bigger field. Yes, other equipment upgrades are, I think, given the rolling hills nature of all the... Oh, we've got a little house on the end of this one as well. I wonder if that becomes... It's like a summer house. How nice. I wonder if that becomes part of our... I wonder if we can go in if we buy it. Wow, that would be interesting. I'd say there's probably enough land here for the sheep paddock. It's whether they can live on a hill. Let's have a look. So it's sort of... Where's the house gone? Oh, it's over there. Let's try and find where it finishes. There might be some landscaping cost in building it. Well, let's have a quick quote, shall we? Although it's probably going to tell us we can't do it because it's not our land. Sheep pasture. You don't own this land. Yeah, so it won't even give me a quote on it. But there is plenty room for it. Now, whilst it's away from everything we own, probably a better place for chickens, actually. You know. Now, where does that end up? It's about the same distance away as the road. Okay, let's see if we can judge it. Yes, there's certainly enough space for it. It's a question of whether they like it there. You know what? I think I'm going to stick with my original plan that I didn't tell you guys about, and keep 18 on the go. Whilst this one's a slightly bigger field, it's over the road. I'm from a small island in the UK. We don't like going far from home if we don't have to. Why cross the road if we need to? The area of grass we'd get with 18 is probably flatter, is probably slightly better for to put an animal paddock on. We can sell the horse paddock for some of the cost. Here's where we would put the sheep, over here at the bottom of the... Oh, not quite over here, just over here. In that area there. So, we'll do that. I am going to buy this field just now before bedtime. Then we can have a cheeky celebratory drink for bed and go home again. Because otherwise the crop will change from ready to harvest to harvested. And we'll lose all the cotton that we were going to get. So, there we go. Would we like to buy it? Yes, we would. And there we see our empire spreading. So, let's set the clock on a little bit of fast forward. I'll put it back to a sensible time for the morning. I think the first thing we will probably do in the morning... Crikey, I don't think... didn't miss that by much at all. There we go. Oh, the other thing I did off camera, I've just remembered, is organise our shelves quite nicely, and also service most of the machinery. There we go. I think I will park this here because I'm fairly sure we're going to need to do some weeding fairly early tomorrow. So, let's do that. Ooh, that needs a clean and a service, doesn't it? Or at least a clean. There we go. Okay, let's shut you down for the night. It will be 7 o'clock fairly shortly. So, we'll do that. So, first job in the morning is going to be some weeding in that field there, the smaller field. Then I'll go and get the cotton planter and get the cotton harvester and get that going. So that should be pretty darn interesting a day. Hope we've got enough to... I didn't check to see if we had enough. I might have to sell something to 24. Yes, I'm going to have to sell something to hire it. Well, I didn't think about that, did I? Okay then. Let's set that to real time because I don't really want to hire it for more than a day. Let's get sleeping. We'll sleep for a cheeky 12 hours because we bought a field. There we go. And good morning, good morning, good morning, blah, 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 as I usually say. But for now, let's go. I'm taking a massive assumption we're going to get weeding. I'm pretty sure we are. That's the way I'm getting the hang of how this game works now. So we can fill this straight from the shelf. We don't have to lift it down, which is something of a relief. There we go. Let's get that refilled nicely. It's about... Oh, that should be plenty. I don't know why I was trying to go on a worker. Probably because I don't know what button I'm pressing. Let's try and not ruin our harvester by opening that too soon. Hey, don't know what I was doing there, guys. Wasn't that fun. But anyway, we've got some herbicide in here now. There we go. Right. Careful, Mr. Horsey. Can I get turned around there? I can't, so let's lift that all the way up. Because otherwise I'm going to be jiggling about like some sort of crazed dancer. And those days are long behind me. Didn't miss that by much, did we? Is that going to miss? No. Tell you what, let's just fold it. There we go. And then we'll know where we are, we can line up nicely and make it look like we know what we're doing. Just because... And then we gently return to exactly where we were after a recording hardware crash. I love it when that happens. Certainly halfway through a sentence. I hope I managed to fade that out okay. There we go. Well, let's get weeding. And when we've done this, I'll pop straight over to the shop. We will then grab the cotton harvester, get that going, and that will go quite some way to finishing off this video, and then I'll get that completed in time-lapse. So that should see us going. There we go. Let's try and not get this caught on any more trees. That is missing those trees. Oop, jumped out instead of pressing go. There we are. So we should only need a few passes of this. So whilst... That wasn't a very straight one, was it? Tick follows talk. Oh, yeah, it's just going to catch those weeds, which is nice. Ah, fantastic. So there we go. This sprayer is serving us fairly well. It's not the smallest one we could have got, and whilst it makes light work of this field, it also handles... So it was probably a little bit big to use on this field exclusively. However, there we go. A little bit big to use on this field exclusively. It's handy that we now have the two bigger fields and we have this to use with them. So there we go. Then one more pass down and we should be done. I've used this sprayer on a couple of contracts as well, which was useful. not quite going to repay itself like that, but it certainly does in terms of our own crop yield, and saves us the odd, well, not so much saves, makes us the odd £1,000 here and there. Okay, one quick turnaround and then we're done. There we go. Fantastic. I think I'll drop it off at the wash station to remind myself that it needs doing. But we'll take this tractor over to the shop. Nah, we won't. We'll walk because we'll need to bring a machine back. There we go. We can see the two different growth stages of our sugarcane there. It's one of the problems with working large fields, I think. There we go. So let's fold you up. Drop you off just here to get serviced and cleaned. Whoa! And that's why you don't drive around a yard at 30 miles an hour. Anyhow. Farming GT style. Okay, let's drop you off there to remind me that I need to do something with you. For now, I think we'll just leave this here. And I will jump cut to the shop because we're walking that way. Anyway, oh no, you see, I needed to sell something. What on earth shall I sell? Well, we've got cotton growing, we've got wheat growing. Let's sell the wheat we've got. Or at least, yeah. Let's sell the wheat we've got because we're going to be replenishing that with the harvest we've got growing. I need to keep that smaller field ticking over right now. Just because we've got those two fairly specialist crops in the other two. One of those is definitely going to be due some canola. And then probably some soybeans as well. Nice, quick, easy, dirty crops, and then we're good. So we're going to sell... Oh, what do we get for wheat? And where, indeed, shall we take it? So wheat is that first... Yes, it is. That first column on the left. If we can take it to Grain Elevator East, maybe? Or Port Southeast. Either of those two. We'll get £7,000. Would probably do us. Let's go for that. In fact, let's take it down to 5 because I know we're going to get quite a bit there. Oh well. That will do indeed. Let's take a full load down to the Grain Elevator East because we get a slightly higher price, I think, but we'll check when we get into town. And then we could stop at the shop on the way back and grab the cotton harvester. So I'll time-lapse the journey and I'll see you at the shop. How fantastically interesting. Right, catch you guys in a little bit. And here we are, back at the shop. Well, there we go. I could have, instead of selling that, I could have just sold the water tanker I was planning to, but never mind. Okay, well, here we are. We're ready to hire our cotton technology thing, the 635. It's still the only cotton harvester in the game. Yes, I said harvester, and I meant to. There we go. So let's lease that, take most of our money down. So it's quite an expensive 12 hours so far, but there we go. So I think that pretty much wraps up most of our... let's dive in there. That's a little bit loud. Most of our video today. So let's groove this back to the shop. I didn't do very much very interesting there. I should probably take some sort of vote and see... what is going on back there? I must have run over something. Hope it wasn't a cat. Oh, I see. It's one of those rear wheel steer things, which is a bit skittish. at high speed. So there we go. All right. Try and make sure we're not going to get in that car's way. We don't need another car being harvested. Good-o. So, yes, that was just a short 20-odd minute, I'd say, video, give or take any messing about. So, yeah. I don't know if many of you will remember the cotton harvest we did on our own larger field before. So, I'll start that now. This machine is not only the cotton harvester, but it bales it as well. If you're lucky, like I was last time, you can unload it straight onto a flatbed and not have to forklift it anywhere. So I'll try and do that again, because otherwise it'll be silly. I tell you what, whilst we're doing that, let's set the time to something slightly more respectable rather than real time. Otherwise, 15 may be a bit much, but let's get it done. Okay, well, let's get ourselves lined up. There we go, on our brand new field. And we need to unfold the harvester. Then I need to lower the front. Then we need to turn it on and get going. So let's do that. And let's harvest some cotton. Fantastic. There we go. So, whilst that ticks along nicely, we can enjoy the rolling countryside of our field. It's fairly hilly again. I shall probably, if I'm doing a crop with bales, I think I might try and remember to do this east to west, otherwise, or just buy a square baler. I'd much rather go north-south. It's the longer side, which means less turning round, and turning round is what takes the time. There we go. We've got some goals then. Let's call this Goal Simulator instead of Farming Simulator. We will make sure to we'll trade in our round baler for a square baler. We'll trade in our water tanker for just a little water tanks that will sit there and we can fill with. Then we need to start thinking about... Oh, I've missed a bit. That's what happens when you get excited. Then I need to start thinking about a bigger plough, because this field and the sugarcane, what I'll currently call our sugarcane field, don't half need some bigger equipment. So, hang on. Let's not get overconfident. That's it. It just takes some time to line itself up again. There we go. Right. So, yes, as we harvest our newly purchased cotton, there we go. Let's check the price. Right, that is 1,000 litres just there. See what the price for cotton is. Make sure we're going straight. Yes, it is. Cotton gives us £4,000 for 1,000 litres. Is that right? Yes, it is. So there we go. It should be quite a nice yield. I'd say we've got, well, probably a good 40, maybe £50,000 worth of cotton there. So that should help us with the baling situation. But first up is definitely a plough. I don't think I'm quite going to catch that all in one. No, not yet. So there we go. I will sign off for now, and I will say thank you very much for watching. As always, likes and subscribes, much appreciated. Comments, if you have any, always read, and I shall reply if necessary. Keep it clean, though. It is a family show, after all. Yes, and I will see you next time. I will time-lapse Tuesday for the rest of this cotton harvest, maybe some ploughing, see what's going on when it's all done. So yes, thanks again, and bye-bye for now. Bye!